Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Upkick MMA episode 254. I am Brendan. All right, fight night, Holloway versus Allen. This is going to be the prelims. So this is going to be Bill Algeo, TJ Brown, Brandon Royval, Matheus Nicolau. Mood lighting. Zak Cummings, Ed Herman, Gillian Robertson versus Piera Rodriguez. We're going to cover the entire prelims here. We're going to break down each fight round by round, go over some scoring, some horrible judges decisions, and some weird reffing. We're going to talk about that. We'll go into that here. Real quick before we get started, if you subscribe to the channel so you know the next video is coming out, I super appreciate it. It means a lot to me. Thank you very much if you could do that. Also, I put out 2 or 3 videos every single week breaking down fights from the past weekend, UFC, Bellator, 1FC, all that good stuff. Let's go. Okay, Bill Algeo taking on TJ Brown. What a fight, huh? A great fight to end the prelims. Brown was being very aggressive, like really aggressive, right? Algeo was landing some great counter. He landed a great counter and another one. TJ landed with some low kicks and a nice left hand. Algeo took him off balance with a right hand, then got the takedown. Brown used the Kimura grip to get back up. Brown was landing some strong left hooks and a follow-up with a ton of volume. Brown was starting to land some hard shots. He slipped the attack of Algeo. Volume was close in this round, but I feel like the damage has to go to Brown. And if you look at the striking numbers here, we got 45-39. By the way, if you're looking for a specific fight breakdown, it's in timestamps down below. The striking was in favor of Algeo in this first round, but I felt like the bigger strikes came from Brown. The more damaging strikes came from Brown in this round. So I gave it to him 10-9. Second round, Brown landed a hard right hand. Algeo is moving forward, throwing some damage, landing a glancing knee. Brown in tight against the fence, landing some real damage, but Algeo lands a left elbow in tight, puts Brown down. He takes the back and gets the rear naked choke. What a great finish. So you could tell that Brown's cardio was going to be an issue. He started to slow down just a little bit, and that gave Algeo enough of a gap to land a good shot. It's not that Brown was really fading that much to where he was, fading into oblivion. It's just that Algeo took advantage of a good position. Maybe the pressure wasn't there. Maybe his defense, because when he got tired, his head movement wasn't as great. It allowed him to land that elbow in tight and put him down. It was a great move by Algeo. Great knockout. It was fantastic. All right, let's go. Brandon Royval taking on Matheus Nicolau. Boy, this one felt good. Nicolau, they really got to put a pedometer on this guy. I'm serious. They should put a pedometer on Nicolau because the way he hops around the cage, how much distance he covers going backwards and side to side. I mean, part of it's annoying, but part of it's also amazing. Watching his fights almost makes me sick because the camera angles have to change so often to keep him in frame. Like he runs by cameras. You're like, okay, could you imagine what they're like on the production team? All right, go for 2, 3. Nope, go to 4. Back to 3, 2. Oh, good God. Okay, everybody just press your own button because it's insane the way he circles. It's just nonstop movement, just all the time, just constantly avoiding, landing 1 shot, landing 2 shots, and then he moves in to land a shot. Nicolau actually only landed 2. All right, and Royval timed one perfectly, landed a knee, and it stopped Nicolau from running away. Holy crap, that was awesome. And then the elbows that he landed to him on the ground were freaking nasty. So that should put some of the hype over Nicolau just at bay, just a little bit. Where was he ranked? So he was ranked number 5, and he was trying to move in for a title shot. I don't know if I want to see him fight for a title with this current fighting style that he has, dancing on the outside and refusing to engage. It's not my kind of fighting style. It's not the thing I want to watch the most, and I don't think it's going to make for exciting fights. I don't think he could beat someone like Moreno or Figueiredo because the way that they pressure and move forward and how they land. But who knows? We don't know because they haven't fought. But I also really like Brandon Royval, and I'm glad he got this win. He's got 3 in a row now over Rogerio Bontorin, Matt Schnell, and now Nicolau. So He's right back in the title picture as far as I'm concerned. Being ranked number 4, I think, there's no reason not to put him in that conversation. The fight that he had with Brandon Moreno was interesting. I'd watch it again. He's fun to watch anyway. But great win for him. Man, we are cooking. Good, because we got to talk about some stuff. Zak Cummings versus Ed Herman. Well, this was hard to watch. Like, really hard to watch. Zak Cummings ends up retiring after this, which is, good for him. He's had a good career. It's just Herman, he looks so slow. Herman was dropped, and Cummings landed some really hard shots. Herman kicked Cummings with both guys on the ground. It was just a spaz moment. So Herman kicked him in the face when he was on the ground, and they were both grounded. It was an accident, but it happens later on, so how much of an accident was it? Ed looks so slow, and he keeps getting tagged. Nice right hand from Herman. He just takes 5 more after he lands a nice hand. And then Cummings dropped him one more time, and he did way more damage in that round. 10-9 in favor of Cummings, maybe even a 10-8. 39-23 is the striking numbers in favor of Cummings. Another left hand, this is the second round, another left hand puts Herman down again. Cummings presses against the cage. Herman lands a great left hand, but then gets his leg kicked out again. Left hook putting Herman down again. Cummings gets kicked in the face again while they're on the ground. Ref takes a point, and DC and Bisping make a $5 bet on whether or not he was going to take a point. That was pretty funny. That added some levity to that moment, made it a little bit more interesting. Cummings landed so much damage. That's a 10-8 round for the point deduction. So it's a 20-17 fight so far. Cummings kicks out the legs of Herman. Herman gets kicked down again and lands an oblique kick from his back, which was interesting. Herman is just a zombie walking forward and throwing crazy, but he just keeps taking damage. Cummings gets the finish with a bunch of left and rights to the nose. Great finish for him in this last round. I'm glad he got the finish because, it's a way to end his career on a real high note, getting the finish in his hometown and stuff. That was awesome to watch. I'm glad he got that. It was just hard to watch. It was awesome to watch him. It was hard to watch Ed Herman. Ed Herman looked like a shell of himself. It did not look like he belonged out there. The guy was just, it wasn't moving right. Things looked off when I was watching him move. He didn't, ugh. All right, Gillian Robertson versus Piera Rodriguez. This fight was pretty good, too. Some decent grappling in here. Robertson was holding her head up high as she enters and getting hit while she was moving in. She's not the best striker. Rodriguez caught a kick, and then they ended up on the ground with Rodriguez on top, but Gillian held the leg as she stood back up after a couple, there were 30 seconds on the ground, and she reverses the position. She holds a leg, stands up, and reverses it and gets a takedown herself. Rodriguez did not do enough damage on the feet to warrant her getting this round because she was controlled a ton, and with the way the damage went back and forth on the feet, Robertson had so much more control time, so I gave it the first round to her, 10-9. I am curious as to how the judges scored this because this is one of those earlier fights. Robertson got the takedown immediately. Robertson gets the armbar so freaking fast. She rotated over the top and got the far side armbar. Wait, near side armbar? I don't remember now, but it was a near side armbar. Wait a minute. No, it couldn't have been. It doesn't matter. It was so freaking slick, man. And then Rodriguez saying she didn't tap and talking shit about it. She's saying, I didn't tap. I didn't tap. She's talking to the ref. It did look like she tapped, but it kind of wasn't. Maybe she was just reaching for the leg. It didn't matter. Her arm got extended in that armbar, and then it was a verbal tap, right? That's legitimate. You cannot scream in pain. You cannot say anything even gurgling or making weird noises can be counted as tapping. If you're showing pain, that's a verbal tap. You don't just have to say tap, tap, tap. You can make if you say ouch the wrong way, that could be considered a verbal tap in a certain position. So I'm glad Gillian Robertson got the finish there. She did nothing wrong. I hope she doesn't get any hate for that one. She's a wizard on the ground. She looks great down there. All right, let's talk about a banger, shall we? Lando Vannata taking on Daniel Zellhuber. Fun fight. Lots of striking. Vannata was staying on the outside, landing leg kicks and moving well. When they're in tight, both guys were landing, but Vannata looking to keep the distance and get out of there. Vannata was landing a nice hook to the body and then coming upstairs with a hook on top. But Zellhuber landed a right hand, stunning Vannata and kneeing him, gets him down. Vannata staying alive, but just barely. Vannata back up with 30 seconds left. Oh, I said we were going to look at this. We'll do it in a second. Vannata back up with 30 seconds left. Vannata ended that round looking fine, but he took some real heat in that round. I had it 10-9 for Zellhuber. If you had it 10-8 for Zellhuber, that's understandable. I just felt like Vannata did enough in there. Even though it was close to being stopped, it wasn't the sustained damage. I don't know how much there really was. 40-17. It was one way. I could see you giving a 10-8 for that. Vannata doing a great job taking it to the legs of Zellhuber in the second round, lands a great hook to the body. Vannata entered with a left hook and lands a right hook on the exit. Vannata countered with a hard right hand. I felt like he did much better in this round. He did a good job moving his head and reaching with the counter hook. Zellhuber with a great jab, missing most of the time, but he has landed a couple of them, and they're great. Vannata caught a kick and kicked the legs out of Zellhuber. Vannata took this round with a smart approach, landing damage and keeping up in the volume. So if you look at the striking numbers here, 22-22, obviously that's a tie. And as far as the damage goes, I had it for Vannata. I felt like he landed the harder shots. Even I could see why he wouldn't get it because he only landed 8 to the head, whereas Zellhuber landed 17, but those leg kicks were really hard. So I gave it to him. If you gave this to Zellhuber, it's understandable. I just have it for Vannata. Zellhuber was more aggressive in this third round, walking him down, staying in his face, keeping his back to the center of the octagon. Vannata wasn't landing those bursty shots like he did in the first couple rounds. About halfway through this third round, Zellhuber landed the right hand. So his striking. He skate. Oh, then he near the end of the round, he started to skate on the outside. Vannata was landing. He landed a head kick. He was landing some serious damage. I think Zellhuber did enough to early in the round to take it, but he was backing away for the last minute, just coasting. I'm never a fan of that stuff. 29-28 in favor of Zellhuber. Striking numbers here wasn't a large gap in the last round. I thought it was pretty close. Let's look at the scorecards. I am curious. Yeah, Chris Lee gave that first round to Piera Rodriguez from the last fight. Sorry, I said I would look at it. Yeah, 2 judges, Saul D'Amato, good job. David Hayeti gave Lando the second round. I agree with that. This fight was closer than the way they were talking. Travis Busking here. I mean, Lando couldn't do anything right to him. So, like I said, there was some questionable judging. We will get to it. This is not the one that I wanted to spend a lot of time on as far as like the judging decision, because that wasn't that bad. That was correct. That's Zellhuber won that fight. It was a great fight by him. Bruna, Brasil versus Denise Gomes. Boy, you got to move your head off the center line, huh? First round, nice late kick from Gomes, dropping Brasil and landing a big right hand after that. Brasil was able to control position in the clinch, but Gomes was landing hard knees to the body. So even though Brasil was pushing her against the cage, Gomes was the one landing the damage. Gomes landed a right hand again and those leg kicks as well. Brasil just standing out there, taking 3 hard shots, and Gomes gets a takedown, and that's her round. 23-10 in favor of Gomes for significant strikes, and obviously the control time went her way as well. 2 minutes to 1 minute and 19 seconds. Brasil gets dropped by a barrage again, and then Gomes follows up and gets the finish. Brasil just looking like Rockhold out there, holding the head up high with like disdain for her opponent. Look at this last round, 31-5 in favor of Gomes. Brasil is a decent striker, and it looks like she has decent striker as in like the way she throws her strikes. They're to the point. They're not loopy. It looks like she's been doing it for a while, but her head movement was just horrible in this fight, and I'm not surprised that she got knocked out. All right. Aaron Phillips versus Gaston Bolanos. One-way traffic, huh? Mainly looking at trading leg kicks early. Phillips was going high with some, and Bolanos trying some hands. Bolanos landing a couple right hands. The hard kicks from Bolanos are making the difference. He's landing more volume, and the more volume and the damage come from Bolanos. So look at that. Bolanos landing 22 to Phillips' 10 significant strikes. It was just an easy way to score that round for sure. Weird takedown attempt leads to a strange scramble, and Phillips gets the takedown and then warned immediately to start working. What the fuck is going on? So this wasn't the first fight. I said again, but we'll talk about it in the next fight. He gets on top and immediately is told, you need to start working. Immediately. Not 10-second delay. They get down to the ground, and the referee, Mr. Nick Barons, he's like, oh, you got to start working. Got to start working. I just got down here, man. I am working. I just did all the work to get him down here. Yes, I'm going to continue working, but I just got here. Holy shit, that was bad. Phillips gets a takedown and then right into mount. The referee is telling him to advance or strike, even though he was in mount. What in the actual fuck? Unacceptable. Unacceptable. He was telling him, hey, you got to advance or strike. Advance to where? I'm in mount. Arguably the second most advantageous position. Where would you like me to advance to? Back control? With hooks in? Great. Well, there's the ground in the way. What am I supposed to make him flip over? That's not how this works. You let him do that, and then you can get to the back. You can transition to the back. You can take the back in transition. You can do it. There's a lot of ways to do it. But mount, pretty fucking good, eh? Strike or advance? Dude, that would suck if Phillips was actually going for a submission. I mean, it didn't stay there long enough, but if Phillips actually went for a submission and they got flipped around or something happened in there and he's looking for that submission and then they get stood up because of that, I would lose my fucking mind. Luckily, that's not what happened. Phillips takes it back and can't get the finish, unfortunately, in this round. Bolanos gets out, and he's kicking the legs from the one-up, one-down position. Bolanos ends the rounds, laying out damage. I gave it to him. It could be 19-19, but I felt like Bolanos did enough damage in that round. Look at how much he struck, 25-5 as far as significant strikes go. I felt like he did enough damage. Yeah, he was controlled on the ground for 3 minutes, but I don't feel like Phillips was close enough to a submission to warrant that being his round, right? It sucks to put it that way, but yeah, I gave it to Bolanos. Phillips gets him against the cage and is warned again about activity. He backs up He went for a back take and lost position. So I don't know if this necessarily happened because he was being warned, but he pushed him against the cage and then gets warned immediately about activity. I really feel like that screwed up Phillips' game plan. Bolanos landed a great hook, and Phillips lands in some nice left hands. Bolanos attempted another spinning back fist, and Phillips took the back, got him down. But Bolanos did way more damage in this round, so I think he should get this one. The control time did not outdo the damage, so 16-2 in my opinion. And then you have one judge, Travis Busking again. Oh, man. This guy was all over the place. He gave that second round to Phillips. I guess. You can make that argument. I wouldn't, but I guess you could make that argument. All right, now let's talk about this is a robbery. All right, normally I'll tell you guys, like, hey, just because a split decision doesn't go the way you saw it, it's not a robbery. This was a fucking robbery. Joselyne Edwards getting the split decision win here over Lucie Pudilova. Bullshit. 130% bullshit. 150%. All of the percentages, bullshit. Let's talk about why. But let's get to it. First of all, Edwards missed weight again, right? Edwards missed weight, which is crazy. I can't believe she's still missing weight. Edwards doing a good job kicking the leg, staying on the outside. Pudilova got the takedown with 3 minutes and 40 seconds left. Edwards got up with 50 seconds left. Pudilova punching her way into the clinch. Not the most damage in that round, but it was obviously for Pudilova. So if you look at the striking number, 17-8 in favor of Edwards, but she wasn't landing anything so significant, right? She wasn't up on the damage so much, right? She landed 9 more strikes, and Pudilova landed a decent amount. You look at total strikes, Edwards landed more, but those were probably from her back, right? So she had 3 minutes and 11 seconds of control time, and she landed some strikes on the ground. 2 of 8. I don't know about that. I felt like she did some decent work on the ground. Anyway, I gave the first round to Pudilova. Edwards using the kicks and keeping the distance again. Then Pudilova got the takedown at 3:20 this time. Pudilova cooks her inside control, took the back, stayed on top, and gets the mount, lands some good elbows to end the round. 12-12 as far as significant strikes go. And then control time, 3 minutes and 20 seconds in favor of Pudilova. Obviously, Pudilova's round, okay? So we can say that for sure. Then the last round here. Edwards does not show urgencies, but she's landing the same kind of shots that she had that she started both round 1 and 2 with. Edwards did a better job in this last round landing, and had she done that either in the first 2 rounds, this would have been her fight, but it's not. 29-28 in favor of Pudilova on my card. So if you look at the striking numbers here, it's actually a close round as well, 27-19 in favor of Edwards. And then they gave it to Edwards, and then she's throwing the double middle fingers up to people. She's flipping the double bird to everybody who's booing her because of the horrible decision. First of all, very aggressive. My dog went into his crate very aggressively. Edwards is not the one to blame for the decision. She just went out there and did her job. That's fine. Okay? But all 3 judges gave that first round to Edwards. All 3 judges gave that first round to Edwards. And Henry Guerrero gave the last round to Pudilova. Holy shit. Even the commentary team was talking about how that was bullshit. Go back and watch it. I know this was bad. And looking at the striking numbers here, you can say like, oh, maybe that's why, because she landed 9 more. Go back and watch it. 9 more strikes, none of which were so significant. And look at this. 6 more to the legs, okay? And none of those were so significant. They were good, and had she done that the whole round like she did in the last round, she walks through that round easy peasy. But that's not what happened. She got taken down and dominated on the ground. Wasn't able to do anything. And the whole time, Pudilova is getting criticized for being down, or told to move, being down there by Dwayne Bess. And he was inserting himself into the fight. It was really stupid. This is horseshit. This is real horseshit. And I hope that she can get all 3 judges gave that first round to Edwards. Apparently they don't. So we talked about this in the last fight here. The control time. Why didn't Phillips? They gave Phillips the second round. They gave Phillips. Okay, I'll give you some perspective. They gave Phillips the second round for 3 minutes of control, 3 minutes and 5 seconds of control time when he was outstruck 25-5. Bolanos landed 20 more strikes that were much more significant than anything Edwards threw. Anything. And one of the judges gave that round to Phillips. One of the judges gave that round to Phillips. Pudilova was outstruck by 9. 9 total strikes. And she had 3 minutes and 11 seconds of control time. She had more control time, got outstruck by less, and even those strikes that landed against her weren't as significant as the one that Bolanos landed against Phillips. Meanwhile, one of the judges saw it so fit to give the round to Phillips. But not a single fucking judge gave this round to Pudilova? You are out of your fucking mind. Go back and watch. If you think I'm crazy, here's the problem. This was the first fight on the prelims. Who cares about this? Nobody's going to go back and watch this. There's not going to be some giant outrage. Nobody's going to be up in arms about this like from last week with the Chris Curtis fight. No one's going to be discussing it. And all they're going to look back on is Joselyne Edwards got a win. She didn't. She missed weight and fucking lost. Her last 2 wins have been split decisions. She hasn't got a finish in the UFC. She's been nothing but decisions, and she lost to Rosa and Rose Clark. Beat Pasquale. That was a horrible fight. And gets a split decision win against over Kim. I don't remember that one. But anyway, I feel bad for Pudilova. Horrible way, and they talked about it a little bit for the rest of the card, but because it was the first fight and they had to move on, they couldn't focus on it that much. This is horseshit. This is horseshit. 9 strikes saved her from losing that round. What 9 strikes did they look at and were like, wow, those were real hard? Man, no matter what Pudilova does the rest of this round, obviously Edwards wins. If she had dropped her in this round, if she had come out with some crazy volume, if she came in there and was piecing her up, bloodying her up, landing elbows from the back, doing some damage, I would be on board with giving her this round. She did none of that shit. She sat on her back like a helpless fucking child for the first 2 rounds. Unreal. What were they looking for? Ross Swanberg, Henry Guerrero, and David Hayeti? What were you looking for? Did you just wake up? Did you get in here slow? Like, were you guys in a rush before you got here? And you just, this is the first round, fuck it, whatever. I saw some strikes from Edwards. That's what this seems like. It seems like you weren't paying attention. It seems like this was the first fight of the night. Who the fuck's going to care? I saw some strikes. It seems like you guys weren't awake and you just gave it to the person who punched more. Asinine. Absolutely asinine. All right. I said my piece. Yeah, this was the worst. And it started out this way. I'm glad it did not carry out through the rest of the card and that we got some definitive decisions and that we didn't deal with close stuff like this. This wasn't even close, in my opinion. This was just a fucking robbery. This was bad. But I'm glad that didn't carry through. The referees kind of got their shit together later on. They weren't talking to people constantly. I'm glad we had a veteran referee out there. Who was out there? Jason Herzog. Jason Herzog and Keith Peterson were there, and apparently Jason Herzog was talking to some of these referees in between, basically probably telling them, like, hey, motherfucker, listen, you can't be telling them to work from mount. They did work. They got to mount. Okay, so I'm glad that didn't carry through the rest of the night and ruin the evening because there was plenty of action, plenty of really great fights. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it through here, please subscribe. It means a lot to me. I'll let you know when the next video is coming out. If you like this stuff, you'll like the other videos I put out. Appreciate y'all. If you're looking for the main card and this is the first one that you watch, that's in the last video. I also covered the PFL. I'll say it again. I'll give my disclaimer, but my little advertisement for them. I like it. Go watch a PFL. It's fun to watch. I covered the fights from PFL 3 earlier this weekend. So go ahead and check that video out too if you're interested. Appreciate y'all. Have an amazing week. Love you.